Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do another state of the collection video. In this video I will talk about all the watches that I acquired throughout the year and also all the watches that are not part of my collection anymore. This video might be a bit longer than usual. Just grab a drink, grab something to eat, enjoy, lean back and let's get started. Alright guys, this is the first watch in my collection. It is the Zelos Mako version 3 in stainless steel. I think most of you guys know that watch already because I own it for multiple years already and it featured in all of my other state of the collection videos as well. Like I mentioned before in the previous state of the collection videos, this is one of my most liked watches because it's wearing just so nicely, comfortably on the wrist. It has a 40mm diameter, it has a sapphire crystal ceramic bezel insert, it has a loomed crown, it has a Miyota 9039 movement I think. This is how the watch looks like on my 7-inch wrist. I really like how the case curves down the wrist. It wears very comfortably. Next up are two watches that I had in my collection for also a long time. These two featured in my previous video as well. This is the Escapement Time King Seiko Homage and the Sugess mechanical chronograph. This is how the Escapement Time looks like. And this is the Sugess mechanical chronograph, 38mm in diameter. Sapphire crystal. I got it I think 2 years ago for a really good price. Nowadays they are like 220 US dollars. They used to go for 150 or something like that. But yeah, it's still a very nice and gorgeous little watch. Alright guys, now comes the first watch from the box. This is the Tudor Black Bay 58. It is my favorite watch out of the entire collection, I'm not gonna lie. This is the watch that I acquired last year. It is the most expensive watch I own and it's the only luxury watch that I have in my collection. All the other watches are affordable timepieces. I wore it really often throughout the year and I came to the realization that this is the watch that wears the most comfortably on my wrist. It's just something about the lugs, the way that they are curved, the thinness of the watch. You can see that it has some micro scratches already, but I don't care about that. This is a watch that I will keep forever in my possession. This is a watch that I want to pass down to my kids eventually. Basically my dream watch. I am more into the vintage inspired watches, so this Tudor Black Bay, it just ticked all the boxes for me. And here's how it looks on my 7-inch wrist. I think it looks perfect. Now we will go into all of the new acquisitions throughout the year. This is the first watch that I acquired last year. This watch is very special to me because this is the first watch ever that got sent to the channel to a review. I never would imagine that a small channel like mine would receive watches from micro brands like Zelos. And for those of you who know, I love Zelos so much. I had so many watches from Zelos in the past and they decided to contact me and send me this watch for review. It is a watch that is representing a milestone in the channel history. And also it's a very beautiful bronze watch with a really nice teal blue dial. The patina on this is already quite developed. This is basically my vacation watch. Whenever I go swimming, I choose this watch basically all the time. Really cool timepiece, glad to have it in my collection. The next watch is gonna be the Moonswatch. It is one of the most controversial watch releases of 2022. This watch kind of divided the watch community in two. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I was fortunate enough to grab 4 pieces. I kept only one of them and this is the Saturn because I really like the color, especially on this NATO strap. I actually wore this watch a lot, and as you can see, it doesn't have any scratches. I was careful with it though, so I was not banging it around. Some people have reported poor quality control issues, pushes falling down, the glass getting scratched and so on. I didn't have this kind of issues. I'm just happy to own one. This is a really cool watch. Actually, fun fact, last week I went to this watch store and they had 4 Moonswatches just to buy, you know. I think it was the Mars, Sun, Uranus and Venus. I didn't buy them because I'm still waiting for the Mercury. This is the watch that I want to grab for myself if I manage to do it one day. I really like the size of it. I really like the fact that it's really lightweight. But basically now in winter I'm not wearing it that much. It is more of a summer watch to me because it's just a little bit too tall and I don't want to scratch it when I'm wearing a jacket or something. So I will just keep this watch in the box until it starts getting warmer. Next up is the Timex Q GMT. This is the watch that I really fell in love with when I saw the pictures of it online. It is my first Timex and I kind of really like the vintage design that they did in this Q line. It is a very comfortable watch to wear. It's really lightweight. It is a quartz GMT and I basically bought it because I'm such a huge fan of the Rolex GMT Master 2. But the thing is, I cannot afford it and I don't know if I will ever be able to afford it. So I bought this watch in the hopes of scratching the itch. Did it scratch the itch? I think not. I still want to get the Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi one day. But it is still a cool watch, especially when you're traveling a lot. It has basically everything that I want. It has a black glossy dial, it has the blue and red bezel and a date complication. The bezel is a little bit hard to turn, like you need to get a good grip on it. The bracelet on this, I switched it out to a Casio bracelet because I really like the brushed design. It came on this bracelet, which is very nice actually, but I'm not a big fan of these polished surfaces, so I just switched it out to this all brushed bracelet and it looks actually super dope. Let's throw it on the wrist real quick. It's a bit of a smaller watch, it has a 38mm diameter, it has a vintage inspired case, the crystal is a really nice domed acrylic crystal, and that's just a lot that I love about this watch. To me also definitely more of a summer timepiece because I don't want to really scratch it and I think this watch goes really well in warmer weather. Next up is a Seiko Alpinist. This is the watch that technically belongs to my wife, but I borrow it every now and then because it's just such a stunning little watch, especially now in fall and winter time. The dark color with the gold indices, I think it goes really well with a lot of stuff that I wear, more earthy tones, you know. Ever since the Alpinist got reintroduced under the Prospects line, I really liked what they did with it. Some people are not really a big fan of the Cyclops and the Prospects logo, but I happen to like it actually, and this is one of the colorways that I think is really underrated. This is more of a coffee colored watch, especially with this dark brown leather strap. It looks really elegant and classy and I like it. And it's really nicely sized. I think it's 38 or 39mm in diameter. It's a bit on the thicker side with, I believe, 13mm. Still, it has a nice display case back, has 200 meters of water resistance, a date complication, and yeah. And this is how it looks on my 7-inch wrist. Believe me guys, this watch looks so much better in person than it does on camera. I actually want to get my hands on the limited edition with the blue dial. I think this is such a stunning little watch, but yeah, let's see if that will ever happen. Alright, next up is a watch that got sent to the channel to review. It is a vintage inspired Seiko turtle homage, which I really like. This is by a brand called RDUNAE or Rectangula. They have kind of two names, I don't know why. But there's a lot on this watch that I really like. It has a sapphire crystal, domed sapphire crystal. It comes in a bit of a smaller size, I believe 41 millimeters, and it has a really nicely finished case that is actually thin. So this is more of a skin diver. I believe the case height is just around 12 millimeters or so. So this is a very comfortable watch to wear, and I always recommend it to people who are looking for more of a vintage inspired dive watch. This watch is also super affordable. I believe it's right around the 180 to 200 USD price mark. With sales and coupons going on, you know, this price can always fluctuate. One minor gripe that I have is that the bezel is kind of misaligned a little bit, but I mean, you know, true to Seiko standards, I guess. But the strap is actually very comfortable, the hardware as well. Highly recommend this watch. I actually wear it a lot because it's a very versatile watch. Seiko actually did a reissue, a re-release of this model, I believe last year, but it costs around $900, so I would highly recommend picking this one up instead. They also do a Willard homage, I believe, and some other compressor style divers. Check them out if you're interested. Review of this timepiece is definitely coming soon. And here's how it looks like on my wrist. Like, you can see how the case curves down on my wrist, which makes it really comfortable to wear actually. Huge fan of this watch, highly recommend it. Alright guys, here comes another banger. This is the Zelos Aurora. It's a titanium field watch. This particular version is the 38mm purple dial. I think it's called the Nebula, as far as I can remember. I basically chose this one because purple is the favorite color of my wife. So I gifted this watch to my wife, and she's wearing it quite often as well. It's a super interesting design. I really like the dial. It reminds me of a supernova, a galaxy or something like that. It is a fully titanium watch, so it is not that heavy. This watch features a sapphire crystal. It has 200 meters of water resistance. This review model doesn't have the hardness coating, but the actual production model does have a hardness coating on top of that. There's a really beautiful clasp with a quick adjust system, so you can always get a perfect fit on your wrist. Bracelet is super easy to remove, and on top of that it is also, it says on the dial, I hope you can read it, it is anti-magnetic as well. Comes with a Miyota movement, so high beat movement for hertz, really accurate as well, so you get a ton of watch for your money. I specifically chose this color because I think there aren't that many good looking purple watches in the market right now, and Zelos did an amazing job with this one. This is how the watch looks like on my wrist. As I mentioned before, with the clasp and the micro adjust system, you are guaranteed to get a perfect fit on your wrist. Let's talk about these two Sun Martin watches real quick. This is a watch that I featured in my recent videos. It is the Sun Martin Black Bay 36 Homage. It is really beautifully done. It is such a well finished watch. I'm a huge fan of the sapphire crystal. I really like the case. It sits so comfortably on the wrist. The bracelet, the clasp. like really comfortable watch. I have here the dark blue dial. I don't know if you can actually pick it up, that it's dark blue. This is the 36, 37 millimeter variant. They also do different colors on this. Next up is one of the watches that I wear very often. This is the Black Bay Pro Homage by St. Martin. I featured this watch a number of times on my videos as well. The thing that I like about it the most is the fact that they slimmed down the case. It is a 39 millimeter watch with a GMT complication, a stainless steel bezel, domed sapphire crystal, and a high beat GMT movement. I replaced the bracelet because, I don't know, I just wanted to switch up the look a bit, and I think it looks awesome on this brown leather strap. I will throw it on the wrist for you guys. This is a leather strap from Zelos, so you guys can see how it looks like. And this is how it looks like on my wrist. Let's zoom out a bit. Yeah, especially on this leather strap, I think it elevates the watch even more, because the stainless steel bracelet is really nice. It looks beautiful, but it is a bit too much steel for my liking. So you have a steel case, steel bezel, and then the steel bracelet, so there's a ton of metal on your wrist. So I decided to remove it, to place the leather strap instead, and now it breaks the watch down nicely. This is, like I mentioned before, one of my most worn watches in the last couple of weeks. And this is how the Black Bay 36 Homage looks like on my wrist. Might be a bit on the smaller side, but I don't mind that at all. I think it's very comfortable. And the last watch on my list is, I think, a watch that I didn't expect to own, and it is a G-Shock. This is the DW6900, the Bamford edition. Just a quick story how I ended up having this watch. So I recently went on a trip to the Philippines, and I noticed that a lot of people are wearing G-Shocks. So I thought it would be cool to get myself a G-Shock as well, like a souvenir, you know. I went to the store and they had this watch in stock, and also a ton of other models. But this is not really available where I live here in Europe. So this variant is constantly sold out. So I thought this would be the perfect gift to myself. And yeah, I actually kind of like it. It sparked my interest into G-Shocks. I definitely want to add more G-Shocks over the next year to my collection. I'm already eyeing some models right now. I also decided to get this one because it is one of the smaller G-Shocks that you can get. As a G-Shock newbie, I prefer to start small and eventually work my way up to the bigger models, because I know that a lot of G-Shocks are like humongous, and yeah, maybe in the future. But right now I'm really happy with my choice. Alright guys, so this has been my state of the collection video. I admit there have been a bit too many watch additions to my collection this year. I definitely have to thin down a bit. I think I already know which watches I will let go. I believe that the Timex GMT will not be sticking around for too long. This watch was an impulse buy. I thought that I would like it, but unfortunately I'm not wearing it that often, so I think it will have to go. Another watch that I'm not wearing that often is the Escapement Time dress watch. I just noticed that I am not really in the need of a dress watch like that, so I will probably let it go as well. And same goes for the Sugess mechanical chronograph. I think it will not stick around for long. I think I will replace this watch with a St. Martin chronograph, especially the Omega Speedmaster 57 model range that they have. I am really intrigued by that. This model is just a little bit too small for me, so I think I will go with the St. Martin model instead. Other than that, I am super happy with my collection. One more thing before we go. I also wanted to mention some of the models that are not in my collection anymore and the reasons for that. So the first watch that is not part of my collection anymore is the Martin SN017. This is the watch that I featured in a giveaway. So once my channel reached 1000 subscribers, I gave this watch to a subscriber of mine, Tim. Greetings if you're watching, Tim. Another watch that I don't have in my collection anymore is the Seiko Samurai Save the Ocean edition. I mentioned it last year already that I don't think it will stick around, and it didn't stick around because it was just not my style of watch. I ended up not wearing it, so I just sold it and moved on. Same thing happened with the Zelos Horizon GMT, the polar version with the white dial. This was a hard one to let go, but I eventually just needed the funds to, keep my watch related YouTube channel going. I realized that I'm not really wearing this watch that often, so I sold it. I think I might regret selling this watch, but it is what it is. Life goes on, right? One watch that I don't regret selling is the Steinhardt OVM 39mm. It is a gorgeous watch, don't get me wrong, but as soon as I got my Tudor Black Bay 58, there was basically no need to keep the Steinhardt in my collection. Another watch that is not part of my collection is the Seiko King Turtle. It is one of my favorite watches still to this day, but I gifted it to my father-in-law in the Philippines. Greetings to you, Dade, if you're watching. I hope you're enjoying your watch. And the last watch that I gave away is the Alpha Explorer 1 Homage. This is a watch that I gave recently to my mom. She's still wearing it to this day. I hope she enjoys it, and yeah. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I know this has been a longer one. If you're still here, I really appreciate it. If you would subscribe, it would help out the channel a lot. I wish you guys a happy new year as well. Stay happy, stay healthy. Thank you very much for watching, and we're gonna see each other in the next one. Cheers!